Hi there, in Adelaide today and just doing another masterclass with Criterion conferences. Earlier this week was in Melbourne, the previous week we did Sydney and Canberra, and next week we've got Melbourne. And these masterclasses are focused on measuring outcomes-based approaches in government. By the time we get to Brisbane and do the final workshop, we would have done five workshops and had about more than 100 people attend these workshops. And the whole thing is it's using a practical approach, particularly based on the pump methodology. So there's four key things that we need to do around measuring outcomes, particularly in government, but it can be applied to any approach. The first thing is we have to be able to articulate our outcome in a way that makes it measurable. So using all those vague motherhoody type statements make it impossible to measure. We have to be really clear about what the outcome is that we're trying to achieve. As soon as we've done that, we make it measurable. And we call them performance results, and they're synonymous with the term outcomes. The next thing we need to do is, once we've figured out what those outcomes are, is that we need to map them. And the key to gaining performance improvement and also understanding what drives performance is to make sure that we can understand the causal relationships between these different results or outcomes. Once we understand that causal flow, we can then affect performance, but also understand what performance is doing. The third thing we do then is we use the pump approach to design and select performance measures that are meaningful for those results or outcomes. As soon as we've done that, we'll have measures that are meaningful, and they will give us feedback about those results or outcomes themselves. Then the last thing we do, once we've figured out how to collect the data and we've done a data definition for the measure itself, is we can start reporting the measure. And in reporting the measure, what we want to do is make sure that we have been really clear about where the data is coming from, how we're going to present the information, and we use XmR Charts. So presenting our information in XmR Charts, which have been the tool of choice for performance improvement practitioners for the last 60 years or so, means that we can get consistent interpretation of information and we can set targets in a more meaningful way. Then the last thing we need to do is track performance in dashboards that are useful to users and meaningful. And that is, we'll use those XmR charts, but also we need to be able to describe what performance is doing, why it's doing that, and what the next best action to take is, if any. Anyway, I hope this has been of value. There's a link to an article below, and if you want to know more information, just drop me a message and I can send you a PDF or a white paper that will give you more information. Thanks for watching, and I hope this has been of value.